taking a man's livelihood away from him is akin to killing him. Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means? Nobody does. It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed the contract. But I signed the contract the way the 28-year-old expectant father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what else am I going to do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree it was a good contract. But what if it was like that game of three-card Monte? What if they were all friends and I didn't know it? And the bag of money was Iceberg's money in the first place. What was I talking about? What was I trying to tell you? Last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I call Lauren Michaels and I tell him, okay, I'll do it. I'll do Saturday Night Live on election night. And the day I made that phone call, the day I committed to it, it gets announced that Netflix is streaming Chappelle's show. Not just Netflix. HBO Max is streaming it too. Let me tell you another story about HBO. No, hear me out. Did you know, before Chappelle's show was at Comedy Central, I pitched that show to HBO. I told them what I wanted to do. Now, these are executives. All they have to do is say, yeah, we'll take it, or no, thank you, we won't. But they didn't say either of those things. They went too far. They said, literally, what do we need you for? That's what they told me, as they kicked me out of the office. What do we need you for? And here we are, all these years later, and they're streaming the very show that I was pitching to them. So I'm asking them, what do you need me for? People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract. But is that right? I didn't think so either. That's why I like working for Netflix. I like working for Netflix because when all those bad things happened to me, that company didn't even exist. And when I found out they were streaming Chappelle's show, I was furious. How could they not know? So you know what I did? I called them and I told them that this makes me feel bad. And do you want to know what they did? They agreed that they would take it off their platform just so I could feel better. That's why I fuck with Netflix. Because they pay me my money. They do what they say they're going to do. and they went above and beyond what you could expect from a businessman. They did something just because they thought that I might think that they were wrong. And I do. I think if you are fucking streaming that show, you're fencing stolen goods. They stole that from me. They just took it. And I'm not up here trying to tell you guys that I believe that Comedy Central gave me a raw deal just because I'm black. I believe that they gave me a raw deal because this fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks. And I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster. When I quit the show, all my friends would say, well, fuck them, Dave. Why don't you just do Chappelle's show at another network? Yeah. And why doesn't a slave run from one plantation to another plantation? Because the master over there might be nicer. My God, man, I was trapped. You know what? Tell you the truth. I've even thought about coming back and doing another Chappelle show. Well, but if I do, I can't call it Chappelle Show because my name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe. It's in the contract. You're not supposed to do this in my business. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network. And I know that this network niggas, they watching me and they saying, why are you doing this so publicly? Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know exactly how that feels. When I quit my show, they said I was crazy. What was crazy about it? I just didn't want to do it anymore. They said I smoked crack. That's impossible. I was a devout Muslim. I didn't smoke or drink. But I do now, bitch, because you ruined my fucking life. Now it's their turn. This is their first nigga lesson, and I'm honored to give it to them. They're gonna pay me for this show. I called my agent. I said, is there anything I can do about this show? And he said, no. Well, fuck you too then. If you want something done right, I guess you gotta do it yourself. So I'm not going to the agents. I'm coming to my real boss. I'm coming to you. I'm begging you. If you ever liked me, if you ever think there was anything worthwhile about me, I'm begging you. Please don't watch that show. I'm not asking you to boycott any network. Boycott me. Boycott Chappelle's show. Do not watch it unless they pay me.
Welcome to HDTV. You now rocking with y'all, boy. That's a little something I wanted everybody to listen to. Was Dave Chappelle basically giving his reasoning of why he doesn't want the show streamed, and a lot of content creators talk about this. Carcino for Life talks about this. I know people are like, you always mention Carcino. Well, because Carcino a good dude, man. And he's a very supportive person. He gives shout outs to the page, man. You know, one day if I get him on the StreamYard, I made history in my mind. I'll feel like I've made history. But he talks about this stuff of the industry and how the artist is always being screwed because of the contract. And this is the stuff I hold these athletes and these other entertainers to. Stop following these guys. Like Dave Chappelle says, if you got to do it, you got to get it done. You got to do it yourself. It's a plain old simple saying that is basically worth 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000,000 words in that little saying. If you want it done, you got to do it yourself. And you do. These entertainers aren't teaching them nothing. These athletes, they're not teaching you anything. They're breaching their contracts. They're showing you, oh, well, man, F it. I want to go here. I want to go that. Like Dave said, you signed a contract. You're contractually obligated to do as they say or else. And that's the business. That's why I never wanted to sign to a record label growing up. When me, my brother, and our other brother was rapping and spitting, doing our thing on the mic, I never wanted to sign because my professor showed me. He gave me 4 quarters. He put 4 quarters on my table and he said, do you want to know the difference between owning your own stuff and not owning your own stuff? When you're not owning your own stuff, he basically took 3 of my quarters away and left me with 1 quarter. He said, now if you in the record business, he took that quarter and gave me a nickel. He put a nickel there instead of that quarter. He took the 4 quarters and put the nickel there. Now he said, this is what happens when I own my own stuff. He took that 1 quarter away, which is for the taxes, and the 75 cents was back in my pocket. And ever since then, I always wanted to own my own stuff. I always wanted to own my own stuff. It's simple and plain, but it's the truth. This industry eats you up and spits you out. They see you at the lowest point of your life or the lowest point of your career. They know, okay, if I dangle this bait in his face, I dangle this little bit of money, boom, I got him. I got him. And that's what all these record labels do. That's what the industry, the film industry does. You know, that's what sports does. They go off of your whims. They go off of how you feel at that time. And they take advantage of you. I will be boycotting the Chappelle Show because I want Dave to get his name back. I want him to have his stuff back. Now, I'm not totally saying Dave's not at fault. He's at fault because of his ignorance of not knowing a contract. And I don't just blame him. I blame us as a black community. I blame all these entertainers, these artists, these athletes. Y'all love to say these token niggas. They basically the savior of all black people. But why aren't they teaching our kids? Why aren't they teaching the youth or teaching people in general about how to handle money, how to read contracts? That's what we need to work on, reading the fine print. That's why us as black Americans continue getting effed over and continue being pumped up the booty, up the poop shooter. You know why? Because we're not reading the contract. You got to read the lines. You got to read stuff. Or you got to also ask questions. Shoot, I ask 1,000,000 questions. I piss people off, but I'm going to ask my question because I just want to know. I want to know if I'm doing it right. I want to know, am I taking the initiative to make sure my future as well as the present is straight for me? And when I was growing up, that's something I regretted. Not being more open, not going out and mingling with people, but I can't help that. I'm going to be me at the end of the day. You like it or not, I don't give a damn. Dave Chappelle gonna be who he is at the end of the day. Whether you like it or not, who cares? Prince did the same thing he figured out when he was getting screwed over. The industry is nothing but screw over. If you can be independent in anything you're doing, shooting film, shooting videos, being an entertainer, doing music or anything, try to be your own boss. And in the NBA, make sure you hire a lawyer that knows how to read contracts. Any deal any of you brothers do, get a lawyer for yourself. Don't be like the Migos and be with the lawyer from their company and get screwed at the end of the day. Don't be that. We need to stop always talking about the thoughts and the got a chicken rotation and all this other stuff. We need to start reading. We need to start doing stuff. We need to start actually doing research on how to read contracts and how to help others. That's what the entertainers and all of these people ain't showing us. They're not teaching us that because you know why? They don't give a damn. They only give a damn about themselves. We need to hold these politicians' feet to the fire. Why aren't they allowing us to get these certain jobs or find these certain jobs? Why aren't these certain jobs promoted in the poorish areas of America? But you'll show white people. Why aren't they promoting that a lot of that is more poor white people than blacks? That is a lot more white people do. You know why they're not promoting that? Because they want to show white people in a great light. They want to show you Bill and Tommy and Sarah and Ashley on the cover looking like they're making it while they got us by the McDonald's sign promoting McDonald's and junk food because that's what they want us to do is eat junk food and kill ourselves. They got us by the weed and all the cigarettes, smoking that, and the black, making it look cool for us. White people, they trying to preach more health and nutrition. With us, it's like, no. But I strayed away like I do all the time, but that's me. Now, Dave Chappelle, please make sure you guys support this brother, but do not stream the Chappelle show. Don't F with it. Because, like he said, we need to take back our rights. We need to take back what's ours. We need to stand firm and stand strong to what we believe in and what we want. He's taking a risk exposing this industry. This is something that LeBrownies isn't doing. He's fake. He's a token nigga. All you LeBrownie fans, you could don't be a fan. If you like the player, just say you like him. But don't be a fanatic. Be a realist. Be unbiased. And you'll go a lot further than always hanging on somebody's coattail or topping them off, as I would say. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming content. And if you want to donate to the page, cash at me at the word welcome, the number 2, HDIITV. Thank you for listening, and we are out. La boy. La boy.